Welcome to part 2 of CIS safeguarding training. Now we're going to dig into the types of harm and abuse we may encounter as educators of our students. Unfortunately, we live in a world where sometimes people hurt one another. I want you to take a second to think about what's the most common form of abuse in schools. Is it peer on peer or adult to child? If you're thinking peer on peer, you definitely guessed it right. We're going to address that in our peer safeguarding policy in just a bit, but right now we're going to focus on adult to child types of harm and abuse. There are 6 types covered in our policy. Each one is a little different, and it's important that you're aware of our definitions. CIS does not condone corporal punishment under any circumstances. Child abuse is defined as any active commission or omission by an adult or staff which would endanger or impair a child's physical, psychological, or emotional well being, or that are judged by a mixture of community values and professionals to be inappropriate. When we think about physical abuse, we mean a non accidental act on a child or young person that results in physical harm. It includes but is not limited to beating, hitting, shaking, burning, drowning, suffocating, biting, poisoning, or otherwise causing physical harm to a child. Physical abuse also involves the fabrication or inducement of illness. An emotional and psychological abuse is the persistent and repeated emotional maltreatment of a child, such as to cause significant and adverse effects on the child's growth and development. It may involve emotional bullying, manipulating a child's feelings to convey that he or she is worthless, unloved, or inadequate, inducing guilt or fear to prevent a child from expressing his or her needs, or deliberately preventing disclosure, causing a child to frequently feel frightened or endangered. This includes the exploitation and or corruption of children. Sexual abuse involves forcing or enticing a child to take part in sexual activities. This could be penetrative, rape, or non penetrative, kissing, touching, or masturbation, as well as non contact acts, such as involving children in viewing or production of sexual images, sexual activities, and sexual behaviors. Neglect is going to be that persistent failure to meet a child's basic physical, educational, emotional, and or psychological needs, which causes significant harm to a child's health or development. Neglect may include, but it's not limited to supervisory, physical, medical, emotional, educational, and abandonment neglect. And last but not least, grooming. Grooming is the use of a variety of manipulative and controlling techniques with a child or young person used in a range of settings to establish trust and or normalize sexually harmful behavior with the overall aim of facilitating abuse and or prohibiting disclosure. It may include the manipulation of family members, colleagues, and organizational practices in addition to victims. It's essential that you know the definitions of peer on peer abuse as well. I'm going to leave that part with you. I'm going to insert our peer safeguarding policy at the end of our time together as a resource for you to download and explore on your own. For now, just so you're aware of the types that are included in that policy: bullying, physical abuse, emotional abuse, online offline, relationship abuse, sexual violence and sexual harassment, sexting, initiation, hazing type violence and rituals, exploitation, prejudiced or gender based violence. Not only can you access the PDF download of our peer safeguarding policy, but you can also type this in: tinyurl.com/CIS peer to peer.